Hey there, Force of Will fans. I am here to give you my opinion on the recent update, Your Invitation to Valhalla Part 1, that was released by Force of Will Co.'s design team. Before we talk about the update, please like, subscribe, comment down below. I'm going to put a link to the update in the description. Hopefully I remember to do that. Please let me know if I don't. What you're looking at is the wall in my office. Hopefully, I will be able to throw some images on this video or some cool graphics or something so that you're not just listening to me drone on and on through the whole thing. I have debated whether or not I should start talking about the update with what I didn't like for each item or with what I did. Now, I'm opting to list the negatives first, but I want to make it abundantly clear that I am not bashing the game. Any criticisms or negative comments that I have are about things that I think can be improved, because I want to see this game thrive, expand, and flourish. So the first thing about the update that I think is inescapable is that we're back in Valhalla. Now, the cards in the original Valhalla sets, as I understand it, were somewhat underwhelming or poorly translated, had a limited English release, and as long as that doesn't become the case for this new cluster, which I don't see that happening, then I really have no complaints about this. One of the things I love about the idea of Valhalla is that flavor that you get. I've always been fascinated by mythology, and the Norse pantheon holds a slew of interesting and unique characters. As a side note, God of War PS4 was amazing. Highly recommend it. And we're going to get back on track now. So the next takeaway from the update was that they are changing the way that J-rulers work, removing their sealed abilities in favor of a new type of card, runes. The runes are going to start play in a special zone called the Rune Zone. And the runes are either going to have sealed abilities on them that will be unlocked, or you're going to be able to exchange the runes that are printed now with ones that are printed in future sets. That wasn't made explicitly clear in the update. Let me just state that I hate sealed abilities. Hate them. So I think that almost any change in this area is going to be for the better. I hate having to buy a new copy of a card that I already own to have a functional copy of that card with all of the text printed on it. And I know you're saying, oh, you can just get, they have the printed inserts that you can put in the card. It's not the same, people. I want the text printed on the card. So, instead of doing that, Force of Will Co. has opted for each ruler to have an associated rune or runes, or maybe you're going to get to choose which runes you're pairing with each ruler. I'm not exactly sure. I guess we're going to have to wait for future updates to be able to really discern how the mechanics of this are going to work. On the surface, I have three major concerns about this idea. So one is, now I need two separate cards in order to play either one. Now, I'm of the belief that this is just bad game design in general. I don't think that I really need to explain to people why needing to own two separate cards to make each one playable is worse than making each individual card playable on its own. 2. Replacing rulers with runes in booster packs just causes the same problem, in my opinion. Now, I love limited formats, specifically draft. Force of Will has suffered in this area, and pulling an extremely powerful rune out of a pack is just as bad as pulling an exceptionally powerful ruler. So I don't see this as an improvement. 3. Are these runes going to be easily accessible? Are they going to be printed like tokens or inserts into the packs? Or are they going to take up the space of a card. And then in the secondary market, which is where a lot of people buy their cards, I can understand having to purchase an expensive ruler, but also having to purchase an expensive rune on top of that. It just seems like a barrier for new players. I don't want people to have to purchase this additional card and absolutely need it to function in the game when this could have been avoided. So hopefully they'll print it like a token, and there will be so many of them out there that we're burning them in the streets because they're just extra. So far, the positive on this issue that I see is at least they're not printing sealed abilities again. So the rest is full of uncertainty, and I'm just going to have to wait until the July 18th update to see where this is going. But I am happy that they are not printing sealed abilities again. Now, in the update, it was also mentioned that J rulers are going to be available only in the starter decks. Now, this is a mixed bag for me. On the one hand, I hate it when companies print things in a specific product that is not printed in any set or expansion, so that I can't open a pack and get those cards, or draft them, or play them in any other way. I have to buy that sealed product specifically. Now, Magic is guilty of this, especially in Commander decks. And then suddenly one of the cards shows up in some sort of Eternal format deck that reaches a top place at a tournament, and then the price for that Commander deck skyrockets, and it becomes impossible for the average player to get that deck. That's the negative. On the other hand, this fixes the problem of pulling rulers in limited formats, like sealed and draft, and it makes it easier to balance those formats. And I would rather see that than have rulers printed in the expansion sets. Again, with the caveat that enough of those starter decks are printed so that every player can easily access those cards as long as they want to play with them. So the last takeaway for me was that they are going to try to balance the rulers or the attributes through subsequent expansions. I believe that that's the purpose of research and development, to put out a balanced product, and if they happen to accidentally miss something and put out some overpowered or underpowered card, then you deal with that exception, which is what it should be. It should be an exception. It should not be the rule. So it seems to me that Force of Will Co. is saying that they are going to behave reactively in this regard rather than proactively. Now, my biggest fear with this is that some card is going to show a dominating presence like Scheherazade recently did, and Force of Will Co. is going to have a knee-jerk reaction that inadvertently punishes players that play that card by, rather than balancing the attributes, just completely swinging the balance in the other direction. So we'll have to wait and see. So the next installment, Your Invitation to Valhalla Part 2, comes out July 18th. So before I sign off, one more time, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll be posting again soon.